Chapter 10. Four Noble Truths.
As they all moved to sit down once again, Zotan asked,
Buddhist teachers say that we are here on earth to know suffering. So is that why we live so many lifetimes before we advance to another level? Is every lifetime just another lesson we have to learn?
Storyteller looked at him with affection and replied,
My friend, I believe deep down you already know the answer, but I am glad you have asked this question.
You must have put the words in my mouth then,
replied Zartan with a cheeky grin.
I would never do that to you.
Laughed Storyteller. He then continued to say,
I cannot claim to be an expert on Buddhism, or an expert on any religion or philosophy for that matter, but I will endeavor to answer your questions with the help of the illumined ones who are assisting me with the writing of this book. My understanding is that Buddha spoke of the Four Noble Truths: the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of the cause of suffering, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, and the noble truth of the way to the cessation of suffering. Is that correct?
He asked Zotan, who replied yes.
Buddhism teaches that the very first step for us to obtain lasting happiness is to first view, acknowledge, and accept that there is suffering within the experiences of life. Am I right so far, my friend?
And he answered,
Yes.
The team were absorbed by this conversation, because none of them apart from Lotus knew anything about the ancient philosophy of Buddhism and its beliefs.
The second noble truth is to understand that we are unaware of how things truly exist, and so we live our lives through a self-identity we call me, that craves for various experiences and material manifestations in life, and it is these cravings that are the root cause of our suffering. How am I going?
He asked, and good was the reply.
The third noble truth is to purify our minds of lust, hatred, and delusion, and when we achieve this, we become pure of heart, with unlimited compassion and divine wisdom. Still okay?
He asked, and Zotan said,
Absolutely.
Good. So we now come to the fourth noble truth. That reveals the noble eightfold path to the cessation of suffering by having the right understanding and right intention, right speech and right action, as well as right livelihood and right efforts, right mindfulness and the right concentration. How have I gone?
Spot on.
Zotan replied. Storyteller then said with enthusiasm,
Fantastic, because in so many ways, depending on our perception, I have just described the best ways to play the game of life.
He looked at the team with a smile, and then looked outside of them, and said to the world,
If we are to ascend to the next level of the great mental plane and save our planet from destruction, it is important to understand that the esteemed masters of the past, from all religions and philosophies, were teaching us how to succeed in the greatest game of all. It is only then that people of all cultures and faiths can unite as one and change our world together by sharing the same passion and desire for peace, love, abundance, and happiness for all. Therefore, it is essential to show you the wonderful similarities of the messages that have been revealed by the different life masters and prophets throughout history. Is that all right? Are you still with me?
He asked, and the world replied yes, because they knew that to unite and act as one was the only way that they could help prevent their planet from being destroyed. Storyteller replied gratefully.
Thank you.
And continued with his explanation of the wisdom of Buddha.
So, starting with the first noble truth, if we observe our world, it is not difficult to see suffering, for there are millions of men, women, and children living in refugee camps, with barely enough to survive on, because they have had to flee from their homelands, because of the ravages of war. Despairingly, they are even being deprived of hope for a better life, because the problems of integrating them into countries that enjoy peace appears to be far too large, even for the wealthier nations of our world to resolve. Religious and tribal wars continue to take lives and create misery, while terrorist acts that kill innocent people are now becoming regular events in many countries. Billions of people on our planet are still living on the breadline or starving, while excessive wealth is being enjoyed by 1% of the world's population, who, according to Oxfam International, own more wealth than the other 99% put together. Surprisingly enough, in 2015, it was found that just 62 people owned the same as that of the poorest half of the world's population. Does this inequality alarm you?
Storyteller asked, and the multitudes were shocked, as they said yes.
Fortunately,
He said,
there are some wonderful philanthropists among the rich in our societies, but far too few to combat the poverty that is prevalent in many countries. Another dilemma facing our planet is global warming, that is making our oceans continually rise, preparing to drown many small islands that don't even contribute to the carbon emissions that are causing this catastrophic problem. Humans are destroying our Earth, with many scientists estimating that between 150 to 200 species of plants, insects, birds, and mammal life become extinct every 24 hours. This is nearly 1,000 times the natural rate, with many biologists saying it is greater than anything the world has experienced since the vanishing of the dinosaurs nearly 65 million years ago.
Lotus said with great sadness.
This is all so terrible. How can we be so foolish?
And Storyteller looked at her with kindness and continued talking with great passion.
We now also face the very real threat of nuclear war, with so-called rogue nations displaying the technology and the will to engage our world in what could make all life, including humankind, become extinct through reckless actions. And so, my friends, I think you would all agree that there is a great suffering in our world.
And they all replied with a very solemn, yes.
Buddha, the awakened one, understood that it is only by truly observing what is happening to our world and feeling compassion for those who are suffering can we ever begin to travel on the path to lasting happiness. A great life coach of our times, Anthony Robbins, teaches us that as human beings, we need to become disturbed deep within ourselves before we will take any actions for change. So I am asking you now, are you feeling disturbed?
And the world replied, yes, with true compassion in their voices, and he called out to them again emotionally.
Are you ready for change?
And they shouted back yes, with a strength of conviction.
I can't hear you.
He cried, and the team along with millions of others shouted back louder, yes, 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 oh my God, yes, which had now become the battle cry of their new movement for change. Excitedly, Storyteller told them.
God has revealed to us, through a wonderful trilogy of uplifting books called Conversations with God, that for our world to survive, we must have an evolution revolution, and this is what we have begun now. Our uprising of love will be known as the One World Love Movement. As you know, the baby boomers started a similar revolution over 50 years ago, and unfortunately never completed it. This time, though, with the power of all generations united with the same purpose, we will most definitely succeed because we must.
Suddenly, the multitudes rose cheering. The team once again found themselves hugging each other with excitement, and then Storyteller said,
No longer can we turn a blind eye and pretend that our planet is not threatened, or that the suffering of people is someone else's problem, because this is only deluding ourselves. We are all as one, and what affects one has a consequence for all of us. I am so proud to be one of you, and I hope that you are now all feeling very positive about where we are heading.
He asked, and they answered in a strong voice of togetherness, yes.
These are exciting times as we launch our One World Love Movement, which will be seen in the future not as a revolution of protesters, but as protectors of humankind and our beautiful planet. As you all understand now, our true self is our soul, which is a manifestation of the all. We are not the personality identity that we call me, which is basically some DNA characteristics and the accumulation of programming we have received in our younger years from parents and teachers, family and friends, which has helped establish our false belief systems of who we think we are and the value we place on ourselves. The Buddhist Second Noble Truth states that it is the cravings of our me identity for different experiences and material things that causes suffering. This is very true if we believe our sole purpose in life is to accumulate material things and then measure the value of our lives through them. When we can't get what we desire, we will then experience disappointment, jealousy of others, and a feeling of being unfulfilled, which ultimately leads to suffering. Do you understand what I mean?
He asked the team, and a confused game changer said,
Well, I definitely get it that we are stuffing our world up, but I thought that we were supposed to create fantastic experiences and material things in our lives, so that the all can know the magnificence of itself through us.
Great question.
Storyteller replied, as he admired the complete honesty and openness of this big man.
If we remain aware that we are playing the game of life, we do not attach ourselves to what we create, because we know that they are just manifestations within the mind of the all, even though they are very enjoyable and appear very real. However, when we view possessions from our me identity, we believe we are actually living in a world of reality, and so we become attached to them. Because we have taken ownership of those objects as belonging to us, sadly many of us think that the value of who we are is identified by what we have accumulated in life, which can lead to anxiety in our lives. Simply put, if our ego self owned a special pen and lost it, he or she would feel anguish because of their emotional attachment to it. But if the true self lost a pen, he or she would simply replace it, because it is, after all, just an instrument to write with. Does that make sense?
Asked Storyteller.
Absolutely.
Replied Game Changer.
And by the way, has anyone seen my sunglasses? Because I really love them, and I'll be really pissed off with whoever has nicked them.
And everyone laughed, because he had a knack of knowing when to lighten a conversation. Storyteller then said,
The third noble truth tells us to purify our minds of lust, hate, and delusion, so that we can live with unlimited compassion and divine wisdom. This is exactly what we do when we remember the truth of who we are and who we want to be, because we then start to live our lives with the compassion, creativity, and energy of the All. In answer to your question, Zlatan, we do learn different lessons by living many lifetimes, but our greatest lesson is to remember who we are, because existing within us already is the knowledge of all there ever was and all there ever is. We in fact live through many lifetimes and choose different life games to help us discover the source of our beginning. When we remember, we can create more wonderful life experiences for ourselves, using the power of creation that the All has given to every one of us. There is no point in trying to become more spiritual, because how can we attain more of what we already are? Everything that exists is energy, and the highest energy of all is spirit, which is our soul, the very essence of the All. Remembering is the key to life, because when we do, we allow the absolute magnificence of our true selves to become more and more of who we want to be, as we explore together the brilliance of the greatest game of all. The fourth Buddhist noble truth reveals that we can cease suffering by having the right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right efforts, right mindfulness, and the right concentration. This means that we should be using the highest vibrations of love in all our thoughts and actions. If love controls our lives, we stop suffering, but if we allow fear to take over, it is then that we suffer the most. When you play your digital game,
he said to the team,
you forget it is only a game and it becomes your reality, which is the same for us all as we play the greatest game of all. In your game, when you feel fear, you are presented with a much more difficult and generally frightening challenge to overcome. Would you agree with that?
Yes, they all replied with a little trepidation.
Well, as the wisdom of the Buddha points out, the same happens to us in our game of life. Think fear, attract fear. Think love, defeat fear. Because love has the greatest vibration of all.
And then suddenly millions of people started dancing and singing along. Storyteller smiled, as he knew the music of the past and present was going to play a major role in the One World Love movement, and so he watched happily as people experienced the power of love, uniting them as one.